Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into a biological mystery that's literally happening inside you right at this very second. I'm honestly so excited to share this one with you because it completely flips the script on everything we thought we knew about how the human body operates. We're going to uncover an invisible, hidden system running inside you right now, an autonomous command center that is constantly making decisions entirely behind the scenes. Let's just jump right into it.
So imagine this for a second. Who exactly is making decisions in your body without ever actually asking for your permission? I want you to physically check in with yourself right now. When you suddenly gasp to catch a breath, or when an intense wave of fear just completely washes over you, or, when you feel that sudden sharp pang of hunger, who is controlling that? Because you didn't consciously think, okay, time to feel hunger now, right? You didn't deliberately tell your body to be afraid. So who or what is calling the shots when you aren't looking?
Your hidden brain.
Look, we aren't just talking about poetry or fun little metaphors today. We are talking about a literal, physical, second command center operating deep within your body. Meet your enteric nervous system. This is a vast biological network of neurons that spans all the way from your stomach down through your intestines. It's this massive physical web of intelligence wrapping right around your digestive tract. And the absolute most vital part of this whole definition is right at the end there. It is capable of acting completely independently. This is hard biological reality. You literally have a second brain living inside your gut.
Section 2. What is the enteric nervous system?
Okay, let's dive into this. Just how big and powerful is this hidden system? Try 500 million. Your enteric nervous system contains roughly 500 million neurons. That scale is just mind-blowing. Neurons are the information messengers of your body, the exact same types of cells that make up the brain inside your skull. And you have 500 million of them dedicated exclusively to your gut. So this isn't just some simple little reflex mechanism. No, this is a highly complex, dense neural network built to process a massive amount of data.
But here is the absolute craziest point of all of this. It can function completely without talking to your main brain. Think about how wild that is for a second. If the connection between your head and your gut was somehow entirely severed, your enteric nervous system, it would just keep going. It literally doesn't even need to consult the brain in your head to do its daily job. It manages its own affairs, makes its own choices, and completely runs its own domain.
Section 3. How does it work? So we know it has the neurons, and we know it works completely on its own, but what are the actual mechanics here? Let's break down the step-by-step logic. This system operates in 3 really fascinating layers. Step 1. The sensors. These are basically your front lines. They recognize food the second it enters your system, identifying exactly what you've just eaten. Step 2. The neurons network. This is the processing center. It takes all that data from the sensors and decides exactly how to handle it. And finally, step 3, the muscle signals. Based on those decisions, it sends out signals to cause the physical movement required to process everything. It is a perfectly logical, self-contained loop of input, computation, and output.
And honestly, this just beautifully illustrates the division of labor inside your body. Because when you eat a really delicious meal, your main brain gets all the glory, right? It gets to enjoy the taste, experience the amazing flavors, and just have all the fun. But your second brain, it gets to work. It steps up and manages the entire highly complex digestion process using those exact 3 steps we just talked about. The head gets the fun job, but the gut does all the heavy lifting, entirely behind the scenes.
Section 4. The gut and emotions connection. All right, now we are pivoting from the mechanics of physical digestion to the absolute climax of today's explainer, the shocking, scientifically proven link between your stomach and your feelings. Look at that massive dominant slice of the pie right there, 90%. When we think about human emotions, we naturally assume all the chemicals responsible for how we feel are brewed up inside our heads, but that is completely false. A staggering 90% of your emotional chemicals are manufactured right there in your stomach by the enteric nervous system. Only a tiny 10% fraction is actually handled by the main brain. Your gut is literally the primary chemical factory for your mood.
Let's connect that incredible data to what you actually physically feel on a daily basis. Have you ever been so tense about, say, an upcoming event that you literally developed a stomachache? Or maybe you were so terrified about something that you felt waves of nausea? On the flip side, think about a time you were purely, blissfully happy. Remember that feeling of physical lightness right in your core? Well, none of that is a coincidence. That is your second brain directly reacting to and actually creating your emotional reality.
Section 5. The science of gut feeling.
Let's explore the psychological mystery behind why we sometimes just know things without any clear rational logic, and how modern science finally explains it. You know when you get that sudden urge to avoid something, like a dark street, a weird situation, or maybe even a specific person, but you literally can't logically explain why? Your head is telling you, hey, everything's totally fine, but something else is absolutely pulling the fire alarm. Well, scientists now believe the enteric nervous system is directly responsible for this. That mysterious gut feeling to avoid danger might quite literally be a gut decision, not a brain decision. Your second brain is sensing something your main brain just hasn't processed yet.
So there's a really good reason for that classic concept, thinking not from the heart, but from the stomach. Our ancestors instinctively knew about the immense power of this second brain long before we ever had the biological maps to prove it. Culturally, we've kind of always recognized that deep, instinctual wisdom doesn't just come from the intellect up in our skulls. It comes from this physical intuition anchored deep down in our core.
Which brings us to our big closing thought for this explainer. Humans don't just think, they feel, with science. You are so much more than just a calculating machine sitting inside a skull. You are a profoundly interconnected system. Moving forward, absolutely trust your logical brain, for sure, but do not ignore that sophisticated biological network humming away in your gut. Take a second to listen to the voice of your second brain before making your next big decision.
So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative question to chew on. What is your second brain telling you right now? Take a moment, check in with that 500 million neuron network right there in your core, because it's always working, it's always feeling, and it's always communicating with you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep listening to what your body is trying to teach you. Catch you next time.